right, so we had a little bit of snow. Rained last night, I don't know how much, maybe an inch or so. It really poured. And then it stopped. And then until about noon today, maybe 11:30 today, it was snowing. So we had a little bit of snow. Yay. I need a little bit of snow. But you can see, if you look up above us, the front is right there, and it is moving off the shore. You can look over there, and that's headed towards the southeast, and you can see the clear definition of a front there. It's still snowing down there. Me and Lewis did not take loads of hay today, just didn't do it. Our motto is ice and snow we don't go, because we don't need to wreck a truck or have somebody wreck into us. It just isn't worth it to us. So that's the motto. So tomorrow's Thursday, and we can go ahead and I'll probably haul one load, he'll haul one load, and then I'll haul on Friday, possibly two. I might do two tomorrow. I don't know. It all depends. It just depends on what we're doing. As far as the 6210R, I have some parts in here. I'm going to show those in about a nanosecond. In the back of the truck, there is a new roof or a cab lid, because I'll tell you, just before I took the cab off, I backed the tractor up, and when I backed the tractor up, the hoist, the hook on the hoist, it caught the lid to the cab and tore it. And when I say it tore it just tore it about a foot, slice right down the center of it. So I've decided that I could repair it with fiberglass, because it is fiberglass. But then I thought to myself, you know, it's gonna bother me. Oh, it's gonna bother me. So I have to. I just have to, you know, for my own sake of sanity, I have to go ahead and replace it. So I don't know what it cost. I didn't ask them. I know the total bill was $3,300, so that had to be done. Look at the pretty snow. There's a pile of compost I put out there. I put lime on everything you can see. There's a couple hundred acres here. I put lime on that. There's 70 acres here. I haven't gotten all of it on. I didn't do the pastures. There's 2 pastures I need to do yet, but I've done everything here. So there's a couple hundred acres. So my goal is still 600 acres of corn, all in one spot. 400 acres of soybeans. I do have to do some work on the grain drill. I got to rebuild the whole entire thing. But I need to come up with about $10,000 for parts for that thing. Yeah, 400 acres of soybeans. That's the goal. Anyway, that being said, I'm going to shut up, and I'm pulling into the farm here in a minute, and I'll take you along to unpack the parts. All right, so the camera's going to work. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick parts inventory of what I purchased. I know what I've gotten. I just need to make sure that everything that I asked for is here. It's kind of a weird thing. They're both identical. Why is there 2 of those? Weird. And here's another one. I know what that is. All right. Papers. There's okay. Yeah, that's important. So you're gonna get to see me, you're watching me do what I'm doing, just because you can. I'm just taking everything out of this box, and we're gonna go over it right quick. Right quick. There's bolts and everything in here, which is a good thing, because you gotta have bolts. Okay, so just to look at these parts, I know what I've got. All right. These are the important pieces, these pieces here. So if you've got one of these tractors, why? Huh? With what? Okay. This is a very important piece. This is the coupler that goes into the front of the transmission. I think I've got the old one here someplace. Yeah, it should have it. Someplace. Where the hell is that thing? Well, yeah, no. Is it still in the front? No. No, I think I might have left it in the transmission. It doesn't matter. It's going to go anyway. Or it's just laying around here and I'm unable to see it because I'm blind. Interesting. All right, so we've got new lines. There's oil lines here. These are important, believe it or not. They're very important because these oil lines go from the transmission forward, and there's a couple of hoses here that go from that transmission forward. This guy. All right. I'm replacing these hoses, and the reason I'm replacing these lines is because why do those not look right? Oh, yeah, because I'm dumb. Yeah, sometimes I can be dumb. So what happened with these lines, these oil lines, they go into these pieces here. Well, there's little clips that go in here, and I'll find them shortly. There, these guys. These little clips here. There are different sized ones, believe it or not. But these are the clips that go in there. They don't look like much, but they go through these slots, and they attach here on these. And what has happened is they've worn here, they've worn holes, and they start to leak. Now I do believe the O-rings are already in there. This is a line that goes on the transmission. I tore it up, it's no good. This is a new piece for the piping. These are new O-rings for various things. Those bits and pieces, lots of O-rings there that I bought. These O-rings go to the, they come in packages of 2. You can't buy 1, you have to buy 2. They go to the hydraulic pipe. Obviously, these are these little clips that go into there. These are the bolts that go to the, this set of bolts goes to that. The pinion there. This is the spring that goes to the park pawl. This is that thermostat, this $200 little thing. I don't know if they replaced it. I'm gonna take it out to the transmission guys, and if they have replaced it, I'm gonna have them buy this one because it's brand new and it is for that transmission. They more than likely did replace it. Comes with these 3 bolts. These 3 bolts are the 3 bolts that goes to, where is that thing? That little 3-piece gasket gizmo. And that's that. Oh, got some more bits and pieces here. What are these? Forget what these are for. Oh, roof. They're for the roof. So I have to put those back in there. So they go to the roof, that big old roof here. Like I said, that hoist that I have up there, that actually caught that lid. So I had to buy a new lid. It tore that lid. That tore that lid. You can barely see it, but you can see it up there. It hooked right dead center and tore it clear up to this groove on that thing. So I actually have the right lid. This tractor is Green Star ready. I am getting a Globe. I think the 3000 is what I'm gonna get. I'm gonna get it from the guys that are doing the transmission. They have it, and all I have to do is drill 4 holes because the mounting for that is up there, and I have to have that in. So no big deal at all. But yeah, these are the pipes and the pieces that I need to get this tractor back in 100% working order. You really want to have these things in 100% working order, especially when you do this kind of work. When you pull that transmission out of there, right? Pull that transmission out of there and you're like, hey, I'm just gonna go ahead and put this thing back together using the old pipes and stuff, and then 3 weeks after you get it back together, you realize, yeah, here, these 3 bolts that are attached to that go to this guy here, which is the siphon tube. There is a strainer underneath there. 3 weeks after you get it all back together again, you realize that your oil lines right here are leaking, and you don't like that idea because who likes leaking oil lines, right? That's not supposed to be the same number, but 49 and let's see, 49. Huh. is a short one. I got a feeling somehow, somewhere, I got misrepresented. I will have to take a look at that. Let me go look. Okay, so I'm gonna get into the nuts and bolts of this thing here real quick as to what needs to be done. I got the new gear for that. We're good there. This is all the electronics. It is ugly when you look down through here. Those O-rings that I can only buy 2 of, they go in there. There's a screen in there, and yeah, it goes in there. These pipes are over there. Those, I have brand new ones. Because I bent this, I could put it back in, but I decided, you know what, I'm not going to put it back in bent, so I just bought a new one. I have O-rings for those as well. These lines here that are right here, those are being replaced. So it's those 2. This one here, there's another one that goes on the top of the transmission, and there's this guy that goes into that one. I bent them. It's just easier to go ahead and take everything off and put all new in before you go and put this tractor back together, you know. So it's just really simple. But that's the whole ball of wax right there. That transmission, that tractor transmission, everything fits right on here. That transmission bolts right there. That's it. So what I have to do now, and I got all these electronics and stuff, but what I have to do now is actually get in there with a solution of diesel fuel, wire brush, and I'm going to wire brush that out after I put my new pinion in there, or that gear for the drop box, park paw gear, I guess you want to call it. I have that over here, and that's for the missing tooth, the one with the missing tooth. We don't like missing teeth, right? So this is the new gear right here. I want to see what it looks like before I go ahead and tear that one apart. Obviously this one here doesn't have any missing parts, and honestly, look at that. It's got that weird like shock hub spline system on it, you know, kind of like what the shock hubs on a mower would look like, even though I know that they're not shock hubs. But yeah, so that's the new gear. I don't know what that thing costs. I have no idea. I know that the whole thing with the roof, the hoses and everything that I've got here was $3,300. I thought I got away pretty cheap, and that's just from John Deere. That's just the John Deere parts. So $3,300. Oh well, I can live with that. Here's another one of these. Only comes in 2s, and that's for the seal to the transmission. These are going to be replaced. But yeah. Anyway, I'm kind of excited. I'm a little more than kind of excited. I'm actually excited. It's always nice when you get the parts you need to put the tractor that you so. I really like this tractor. I would buy another one of these in a half a heartbeat. Literally a half a heartbeat. I definitely, totally, 100% would. I do need to find out where those hoses got to, though. I don't know what I did with them. I might have stuck them over here. Who knows? They might be under there. Timothy might have just covered them up with that piece of cardboard I told him to stuff under there. But yeah, no, I'm getting quite excited about putting this thing back together again. Missed the tractor. I really miss this tractor. I don't know. Anybody who runs these things, you know, you get used to a tractor and you're like, oh yeah, I'll just take the, oh shit, it's all tore apart in the shop, you know, that kind of a thing. But yeah, here's where that O-ring is supposed to go, but I don't know, man, it doesn't look like it's the same size. Is it? It really doesn't, unless they're asking for 2 of them to go in there. The thing just doesn't look quite right. There. Let's see. Sometimes they'll do that. No, that's the right size. Yeah, that's it. That's it. It's the right size. I got 2 of them now, so. You know what you do with O-rings that are this size? If you have a smaller O-ring that's broke, like in a hydraulic cylinder, you can cut that and get some super glue, glue them together and put them in. As long as you do it right, you're good to go. They do have O-ring kits like that. So anyway, yeah. Wow, look at all this stuff. All these O-rings and pieces. Here's another set of those O-rings. These are the important parts. Now, I ordered these in the past. I thought I had some other bits ordered. I don't understand why they're not here. These things here are what they sent me that were fucked up. All this stuff here, all this stuff that's in this box goes back because they're not the same. They're not the right ones. So, yeah. Anyway, that's it. Bye. Okay, so this is the helical gear. They call it a helical gear. My personal opinion as to why this thing broke was one of two things. Either somehow it lost power, ran out of fuel and died while they were going down a road, and when the engine drops below a certain number of RPM, it goes ahead and yeah, when it drops below a certain RPM, the hydraulics drop out, and then the engine stops turning, and then you lose total hydraulic pressure. And when you do that, that's when the park pawl will engage. And I'm telling you, I can feel it right here. 1, 2, this one's broke. 3, there's 3. This one here doesn't have it, but there's an edge on each one of those where that had slammed in, and that's what happens. It'll break it off. The other thing is, somebody could have just, you can't put it into park and have it engage while the engine's running, but if you turn the key off, the engine key, you turn that engine key off, bam, that's what's going to happen. So what I have to do is pretty simple. So I've got to pull this nut off of here. Now this nut, believe it or not, has a crimp there. See it? Right there, that little crimp. And that nut, that crimp, I got a little rust on there from being apart for so long. I'm hoping the Burkholder boys get this transmission done. So I'm gonna take those crimps out of there, and then I'm gonna knock that nut loose, and then this whole thing, I think it's, see how free that is on there? That runs the 4-wheel drive unit, it's drop box, and it also runs the park pawl. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna get that thing off there. I'll show you, maybe I'll high speed it, I don't know, but I'll knock that out of there, take it off, and then this whole thing comes apart. There's 2 pieces here. The bearing should stay in there, and then I'll be able to replace that gear quite simply. Okay, so I took a punch, broke my damn screwdriver, just broke that sucker right off of there. See that? What I did with the screwdriver was I stuck it in there, and then when I pried up on it like that, it snapped it. They're not really designed to do that, but I want you to know that these nuts, they're really not on there super tight, and there's a reason for that. There is a certain amount of tension on the bearing. So when you have that tension set on the bearing, it's really not that tight. My problem is I don't have a wrench big enough, I don't think, to get that off there, but I do have a bronze chisel. So I know there's a lot of guys that are just freaking right the hell out right now over that, smacking that. The bronze chisel is not really that, it's not hard. It's not nearly as hard as, say, the steel is, or the steel for that nut. So now I have to basically remove that. So how do you do that? So this whole shaft, believe it or not, has to go out that way, right? I believe. I was kind of hoping that it would separate there, but I don't think it does right now. Huh. I do believe it does separate there. It's gonna have to. You don't want to smack anything too hard if you're not sure, because you can break stuff. We don't really want to do that. thing did move though, didn't it? Did it move? Hell yeah, it did. So, okay. So if that thing moved like that, it'll come out. Now, all right, what do we got to do here? No. Okay. Gotta be careful, some of the steel is sharp. All right, I'm gonna have to do some research. Give me a second.